Hey everyone, it's Adrian again with BulletCatchFilms, and today I want to talk about the art of cinematography and using visual language to help tell stories, or your story. Visual language refers to the use of imagery to convey story and its meaning. It's basically the easiest way to say it. It's a guide that helps the audience to see and feel, using light, color, composition, shadows, angles, depth, even pacing. All of these things are tools to approach the themes of your film. So let's go ahead and take a look and we'll break down some of BulletCatch's films.
I get a budget every fucking month and I set up meetings with senators, congressmen, people of sway. I spend the fucking money.
If you put it in your pocket, that's embezzlement. I'm not gonna call the cops, but you have 1 week to return the funds. And you better hope no one else notices.
Gibson has files somewhere, somehow. The right people to buy, the right people to call.
Carbon. It's the story of Trent Williams. He's a corrupt executive who's embezzled money and he's caught. He's basically forced into selling corporate secrets to a competitor to bail himself out. So we have these massive companies, an unfathomable amount of wealth, so how do you convey that on screen? The first thing that came to my mind was the feeling of course, vastness. So we went out and shot these very large buildings. We tried to choose them, the ones that had no visual life, to try to create this almost haunting void feeling. It puts the audience in a state of uneasiness, basically in the state of our main protagonist. And when it comes to our main protagonist, I would always try to angle the camera upwards in many takes over and over again to try to give power to her and to show to the audience that she was a person who's usually and generally in power. And of course, a lot of the characters are shot very similar to her because I wanted to also make it feel like all of these characters are also skyscrapers themselves. And Carson is usually represented by blue. So she's very cold, she's calculated, and she's a personification of these corporations.
Very spooky. It's a nice touch. Someone with an ego.
Moving on to Night Hunter. It's a story about the disappearance of a young girl named Sylvia. She vanishes from her home in the middle of the night. We have two Night Hunters, Jackson and Logan, and their job is to find her. I really wanted Night Hunter to be about the pursuance and conquest of truth. And I thought to myself, how do I do that? Well, candlelight and a single flame. Candlelight has been used in cinema since the beginning. It represents the world being a dark and void place. So, a small flicker of this candlelight in the dark represents one search for truth. So all of these light sources had to match the theme of our film, which was of course the candlelight. So I went with the Zeiss Milvus lenses and I added a pro mist filter to achieve the glow and transform each light source into our flame. That's very clearly defined by this scene, Jackson searching for his partner Logan, who has gone missing as well. His search for her comes where we're at the precipice of his truth. It's the only thing that he has to guide him through the night.
Cherry, I don't know how long I can keep doing this.
I have a lead on someone looking for a new business partner. I have the money. You have the product. She needs both.
So let's move on to Traffic. Traffic, I really wanted to do a hero's journey, and this is our FBI agent played by the wonderful Leanne. I really wanted to delve into the psychological effects on her, and that was something that was very important on her as well, when she brought the story to me. Pursuing child traffickers isn't easy for anyone, let alone law enforcement. They're not invincible, they're still humans. And to me, composition was key in identifying Leanne as our main protagonist. As you can see, the camera, when it's moving, always tends to drift back towards her. It basically signifies the burden she has on her shoulders. So whenever Leanne's on screen, even if another character is talking, the camera always seems to slowly just drift back to where Leanne is. So as she dives deeper and deeper into the underworld, the camera gets closer and closer to her. The visual language in the film is like any language. It's a system used to communicate and portray meaning in our films. It's a tool to establish narrative and explore depths of character and plot. What are some techniques of visual language that you have used in your films? What are some of the films that you have a strong connection to? How did the language of that film portray its message? Please let me know in the comments. I would love to know your thoughts. Also be sure to subscribe and help our channel. And as always, don't forget to catch the bullet.